Here we go. Yo, Razorback fans, how you doing? This is Ty Hudson on behalf of Hogville Net YouTube. Alongside me, the guy that's covering all things basketball for the Razorbacks for Hogville.net, Kevin McPherson. Kevin, sir, how are you?
I'm good. As you can see, I'm not in my usual man cave for this production. I am in another room, my makeshift office, which serves what used to be a dining room, and I'm auditioning for the show Hoarders. If you look behind me, we've got stacks of things. I'm hoping someone's watching that runs that show and production and keeps me in mind.
Oh, you should see our garage. Oh my goodness. Which I'm hoping will one day be a studio. All right. Razorback basketball. Here we are. We've got some basketball content, and it's going to be live 12:30 in Valencia, Spain, and we're calling them Valencia Select. That's what we're going to call the opponents. First thing right out the gate. And again, if you guys have any questions, feel free. We're not going to read a lot because we're going to try and keep this at about 15 to 20 minutes, so everyone has time to try and catch the game on Flow Sports. Of course, Kevin, who's going to be doing all the coverage for Hogville.net for basketball. We are also going to be back for the postgame here as well for this game. So, all right, first question, and right out the gate. You already have an article on this, but just in case anyone has missed it, what is the latest on Nick Smith's availability for this game?
Yeah, the university hasn't put anything out. I was told they probably wouldn't. We've seen photos though in the last few days of the team activities on the beach. Nick's in the ocean throwing the football, playing football. There was some basketball stuff going on the playground outside there, close to the beach, I assume. Well, Valencia is on the beach, so everything's close to the beach there or on it.
Yeah.
So in practice, when he didn't participate on Wednesday when the media was in there, he had a little wrap on his index finger on that left hand, the non-shooting hand, the injured hand finger. I haven't seen in these photos him wearing any kind of protective anything. No wrap, no splint. Doesn't mean they're going to play him. But if he's roughhousing out on the beach with the team, I'm guessing he might be okay and good to go. So if you're asking me right now, not knowing, it's my speculation, my guess, I think Nick Smith Jr.'s going to go. Which is, that's a big deal. I know these games don't count. You'd rather him, by the way, that bone bruise in the finger, that's not an injury that's debilitating or one that can actually get worse other than swelling and pain, which, it's those kind of things. And this far out from the season, you don't want to take any chances. At the same, making that point, I think also, since it's not a serious injury and one that, you wouldn't think can actually be something that becomes a real problem other than pain and swelling, maybe you test it out and see how he does. But again, based on the photos, my guesswork is we'll see Nick Smith Jr., whether that's today or in a upcoming game, but I would think today.
Yeah, and obviously, yeah, that'd be fun to get that much more exposure to Nick Smith, and him, how they look together on the floor with him out there. Of course, he's the big guy. Everyone talks about him. He is, and I don't want to build him up to be the best player already on the team because we really don't know, but he's definitely the guy that's click worthy. And you mentioned his name. Everybody wants to know what's going on. We also don't know what the starting five looks like, right? We don't know what that looks like just yet. Do you have an idea of who that might be? And I know you've talked about that. You've alluded to that already a little bit, but just for the folks that are just getting here, who do you look at as the starting five?
I have some ideas. The starting five is not going to matter, and I'm going to tell you why. There's some reward, and possibly you could say on the flip of that, punishment. Looking at the mile times that the team was required to do. Each player had a time that, based on their position. Then you had guys that maybe didn't make it all the way through practice for one reason or another that displeased Musselman. So, he commented this in his press conferences that guys, that might affect who gets to start. And if that's the case, then that could impact not only the starters, but rotation a little bit. I have a clear idea in mind about who should be starting and in that rotation, if not for maybe some of these little things that are going to affect what Musselman does. everybody's going to play. I don't see any scenario where, unless barring injury, we don't want to keep talking about injuries, but or somebody doing something stupid over there and getting in trouble. I don't foresee 13 scholarship players not getting opportunities and ample opportunities in this event. Now, Musman's talked about he had some ideas for rotations, but again, those are going to be impacted by guys who he may not start, who otherwise would, be in a running for that. So I think right now everybody wants to talk about starters and rotations. This is August. This is there is a business element to this trip. Don't ever think Musman's not thinking along those lines, but at the same time, things will probably play out quite differently now than they will in November in terms of everybody getting some run. You might see, an equality of minutes spread out. We might not, and that'll be telling as well. We'll see what Musman does, but if a Nick Smith Jr. is healthy, I expect him in the starting lineup. If he can play, I think Anthony Black's a starter. I think Trevon Brazil's a starter. I think Devo Davis, whether he's technically starting or playing off the bench, is going to continue to get top 5 minutes. Maybe he starts today. Jordan Walsh is another guy, but we just don't know enough about Musselman's motives other than what he's told us that will impact that starting lineup. And we know I mentioned a couple of those factors. And so this is also a great way to send a message to your team. It doesn't matter how good you are. If there are expectations in practice, you need to meet those because you might not get to play or might not get to start. So we'll just see how all that shakes out, Ty.
Do you have any idea who they're up against? What the opponent might look like? I know last you and I had talked, we really didn't know a whole lot about them. It sounds like they're just, honestly, to me, it sounds like they're just grabbing guys from the area and they're like, okay, you can play basketball. Is that what are they up against?
Effectively, you're talking about typically older players playing on some professional level. The Euro leagues are not in right now, so it will be kind of gathering up guys that can play, Valencia select. So they're going to just kind of pick up some guys that are available. It's a great way for some of these players to get some run, challenge themselves against some quality talent from the United States, but also maybe pick up a paycheck. So you're really, it's going to be a gathering of area pros and that, Valencia, surrounding areas, whoever they could get in to come play. These games have been known for a few weeks, so players could make arrangements if they are not in that immediate area, but they'll probably be a gathering of I'm thinking players in their 20s and 30s. So the median age should be older on most of these teams than what the Razorbacks are bringing in as a college team, an amateur. We could still call college basketball amateur sports in Division I, can't we? We've got NIL and
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't see any problem with that at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. You're going to add on to that.
No, I was just going to say, so we really don't know specifics here. The head coach for this team did reach out on Twitter to Eric Musselman to say he looked forward to this, to meeting him and getting this opportunity to play. So this guy's been heard, Christian Crudelli, I think if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly. And so there's that. I know the coach's name.
There we go. I mean, that's about all anyone's saying around anywhere. So, I mean, that's just kind of the way it is. And of course, Arkansas, like Kevin said, this is a business trip. They're definitely they're going to take this pretty serious. And I don't know Musselman, and of course, Kevin, you know him a hell of a lot better than any of us do, but I don't see him taking this lightly at all. And I don't think his players will take it lightly either. We have some questions, by the way. Again, you guys make sure you call, you follow us on Twitter, Kevin McPherson, Ty Hudson, Hogville, and go to hogville.net for all the latest and greatest free content. Kevin and I and Dudley and Otis, we're going to stress that. We can't stress it enough, really, about how awesome the content is over there, and it's 100% free. And Kevin, of course, does a great job. We have some questions. I already kind of know the answer to this, but just kind of throwing it out there. This is from Austin Foster. I know most folks will, but if we don't blow these guys out, should there be any panic?
Absolutely not. The time to panic maybe was mid-season for 2 years in a row when Arkansas just stumbled out of the gates in SEC play. Yeah. And things looked like they were falling apart at the seams. And next thing you know, Muss dials up a couple of rotation tweaks and sort of starts pushing all the right buttons on the defensive end to get some cohesion there, and everything falls into place. And the next thing you know, they don't just start ironing out some issues. I mean, they get on a roll, So if you see some trouble spots in August, I wouldn't worry about it, especially with the collection of talent. And again, I think this roster is the most diverse Musman's had in terms of positional versatility, much more height and length in the front line. There's a lot of athleticism. There's many ways you can go in the lineup. These are things we'll be paying attention to, Ty. We can learn some stuff, but I don't think some struggles or bumps along the way in this event. We've got a starting five. I'm going to jump off real quick. Let's take a look at it. I'll be right back.
So Kevin's good. We have our starting five. So we're going to have maybe some breaking news if we can get Kevin back in here.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Can y'all see me?
I can't. Your screen's frozen, but
Hello?
We can hear you.
Okay. Starting five: Anthony Black, Joseph Pinion, Ricky Council IV, Barry Dunning Jr., and Trevon Brazil.
There it is. You heard it here.
So we don't know. Go ahead.
Pinion.
We got Joseph Pinion in there. How about that?
Yeah.
We got another freshman, Barry Dunning Jr., and another freshman in Anthony Black. So that's three freshmen in the starting five. And then of course Ricky Council IV. Now he was kind of late to meet his mile time, but Musman talked about that he finally completed it. So that probably obviously made him eligible for that starting group.
We may have lost him. Hear us? We may have lost him just for a second. So I'm trying to pull up that list there that he just gave us. Remember, it is on Flow Sports, so we lost him. He'll probably come back in. There he is. Here he is. Let's try that again. Boom. There you are. See, that was simple. See, and that's why I'm glad we're doing these, Kevin, because when we get going in basketball season, we're already going to have some streams under our belt. We're going to know how to handle this.
Well, the other thing is we needed to hear that starting five on this Hogville Net YouTube.
That's right. You heard it here.
We were just talking about it. We said it didn't matter, but it matters to those kids and it matters to those families. Somebody's got to start the games.
That's right.
And look, it's all quality on this roster. It's just quality talent. And I think we're going to see that a little bit from everybody, at minimum. Some guys we may see more from. And then you can't take all of it to the bank because things will change. We're 3 months out from the season. And again, Musman top 7-8 rotation. We'll see what he does with minutes here. I expect everybody to play. I don't know with Nick Smith not being in the starting five if that means he's out today. It may mean that other guys are getting rewarded right now, and he's been out for a few days. So maybe if he is going to play, maybe they play him, off the bench. If he's going to play, we just don't know the answer to that. And I keep checking my notifications at the top of the screen because, news could be breaking on Nick Smith Jr. here in terms of his availability.
Someone brought up in chat the jerseys, and I know, listen, it's just preseason. They're kind of, they just want to have that Euro look. Maybe I want to
got it.
Do you think
they nailed it?
They certainly did that. Do you think that's you like that? You like that they're doing that they're kind of trying to mesh with the Euro look, or should they have just stuck with the classics?
Well, the old saying, win in Rome, although they're not in Rome, they're not far from Rome.
They're not far. Yeah.
Right. So win close to Rome, it's one of those things where, you see them. If you saw these guys in uniform sitting at a street side cafe drinking Perrier, you wouldn't even know they were real players. That's just what they do over there, man. That's the look. They nailed it.
They did.
I think it's great.
They look, the Euro look is, I'm not going to lie. When I first saw the pictures, I didn't even, the first thing that came to mind was, that definitely looks European.
Yeah.
But, when you consider that that's what they're doing, they're kind of honoring the look over there. They certainly got that. Austin says, Pinion and Dunyan starting. Raise your hand if you had them starting, then put it back down because you'd be lying. Again, like Kevin said, you can't look too much into that. This is they're going to kind of play around with that rotation. And also, we don't know if Nick Smith's going to play. I would lean towards probably not if he's not in the starting five, but you never know. We'll get out of here with this last thing. Auburn fell in their overseas game against Israel. So again, you already said don't panic if Arkansas doesn't blow these guys out. We know there will be. We know Arkansas Twitter is going to react pretty pretty.
Don't take my advice. Do as you will.
Exactly. Well, I guess the question is, we kind of already answered it about the panic, but they have that kind of time between now and when's the next game? I have it written down, the 11th, which will there will be no post game for that. By the way, we're doing that pregame only. By the way, right. I just got my schedule not long ago about Arkansas practice. They're going full pads, so I had to switch things around. So Kevin and I will be here for the pregame. But also, if Arkansas if they do poorly and they have time to fix that, they're gonna have a day to work on it. Do you know what kind of access they're gonna have to gyms around the area? Are they gonna be able to use that same gym? Are they gonna be able to go somewhere correct? Because we know like you said, this is a business trip. He's gonna want to fix what they just saw.
Well, they're gonna jump to Barcelona. That's where the next game is in Barcelona. There's a day in between, and they'll probably go sightseeing, doing other things. So they might get they've been doing walkthroughs on an outdoor court on the beach. I don't know that they've been in this gym until they got there for this game. Okay. I will say this, Auburn lost to the Israeli national team. Denny Advia, who's a good NBA player, not a star, but a rotation guy for the Washington Wizards, played last season with Daniel Gafford, Arkansas star. But they that's the national team. Arkansas is not playing any country's national team. They are playing a club team at the end in Italy, the Back and Bears. So we'll see what kind of a challenge that is. Some of these other teams, may present some challenges. All of them will present some level of challenges. What I'm really watching, though, Ty, as we do a pregame here, on defense, as good as Arkansas's been under Musselman, they weren't always good. They had to iron out. We talked about that. They had to get some things corrected. We're going to see some positives today, I think, in terms of rim protection above the rim. I think we're going to see, big bodies that are able to help wall off drives, even if some assignments are missed just because of the length and spreading out and getting low, bending. I think there's so much good athleticism on this team that they'll be able to fix some of their problems in communication and, getting the spots at the right time as they continue to work and play as different units, different personnel combinations. But I do think defensively we're going to see maybe some wow moments immediately in these games just because of their ability to get up above the rim and defend it that way. I also expect offensively really keeping an eye on this team in transition. I think this team is built to be Musselman's best transition offense. First, primary and secondary, playing above the rim even in half court, because Anthony Black and Nick Smith Jr., even though Nick may not play today, Anthony Black is so good in transition and even in half court, finding guys against the defense's vision, and it helps create easy offense. And then you've got those spectacular finishers. We keep saying above the rim. That's both defense and offense. Also keep an eye on the three-point shooting. Arkansas was dreadful there last year. I expect the team to be improved this year, but we'll see.
Yeah.
When you got Joseph Pinion in the starting lineup, you might see him pop a few early. By the way, I did think Barry Dunning, he was the one guy I thought might work his way to that starting lineup. Musselman's been raving about him. And then also on offense, I'm going to be paying attention to Arkansas getting to the free throw line. They've really been a lead in that department. Attempted, made free throws 3 seasons in a row. Mm-hmm. When you add size and length, you're even harder to defend. So that means they should continue that trend of getting to the free throw line. But let's see what guys are doing right now in terms of efficiency there. Again, it's just August, but these are just things I'll be paying attention to. There's certainly other stuff to keep an eye on. The rotations, we're always going to talk about that with Musselman.
Yeah.
The starters, those are always going to be conversation points. And after the game today, we'll go through all of it.
We will. We'll go through every bit of it. And also, the question that was asked us last time that we did this, if they were going to break out of the 8-man rotation, they will today. Absolutely they will, because at least that's my opinion. I don't know. Kevin, I'm sure you think they'll probably do the same, because they're going to try and work everybody in. As far as the Nick Smith question, Ash, he's not in the starting 5. That's all we can say at the moment.
Right.
So, all right. Is there anything else you want to add before we hang this up and get ready to watch these Hogs?
Not really, Ty. I mean, the biggest thing again is focusing on you just can't get your mind wrapped around starters and thinking, well, this is the rotation. Just watch what guys do in their minutes, man. Just pay attention. Pay attention to what seems to work when certain guys are together. And then really, how does Arkansas deal with some early adversity? Because even when games don't count, adversity is going to challenge you. You can't go in there with the attitude, well, these games don't count. Musselman doesn't. This is a learning opportunity for his team to handle and cope with adversity when it hits. And so I would say keep an eye on that.
There you go. From the best of the best right there from hogville.net. Kevin McPherson, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out. I know you're busy. You got to get ready. I do as well. I've got the game on Flow Sports. God willing, it works appropriately, and we have no issues with Flow Sports. You guys make sure you get on over to hogville.net for all the latest and greatest and everything that's free. There's no 99-cent month. You don't have to open up your billfold. It's there for the taking, and also a completely open and free message board too. So appreciate you guys. We will be back. As far as when the post game happens, give us a little bit of time. Kevin's got stuff he's got to do. We're kind of still waiting on media availability to Coach Muss and the players. We don't know what that looks like just yet. So just stand by. It may not be live right out the gate, but we will have a post game show. Could be 5 minutes, could be 15, 20, 30 minutes. Just make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you like this stream and make sure you click that notification bell. Woo Pig, and we'll see you guys on the postgame show. Kevin, I'll see you then, sir.
Good to be with you again, Ty. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Look forward to it.
Absolutely.